Salutations everybody, it's Matty here. We're not in the studio, we're in Il Mio Camera de Letto. It's been a while. I know some of you guys like the coziness in here, but I'm not gonna fib, I was feeling a little lazy today. So we're just cooling it in the room today. We are talking about a game that has taken the internet by storm. It is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. It is the compilation I'm sure you're already familiar with, featuring Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. Now, this compilation isn't as special to me as it is for a lot of people. Allow me to explain a little bit of my collecting history. When I started getting games for my Nintendo 64, this was the first one I got. And this isn't even exclusive to the 64, it's just the one I have the best memories on. When I started collecting for the Game Boy, do any of these look like big hit Nintendo games? I might be the weirdest Nintendo fan of all time. Yeah, let me go ahead and get a little Dynasty Warriors Advance in my life. Yep, that says Nintendo to me. And I mean, I've collected a couple games for GameCube, but like, I was a PS2 kid through and through. So like, I just went retro game hunting and this was my big purchase. I was so excited to find this. But point being is, I think this is all important to establish early on in the video, is that I hold zero nostalgic ties to these games. I played Super Mario 64 when I was a little kid. I never played Sunshine. I never played Galaxy. So I thought that my opinion may be interesting on these sets of games here, what I feel has aged well, what I feel hasn't aged well, and overall my thoughts on Nintendo's efforts or lack thereof with this trio of games for $60. So we're gonna be doing what I imagine a lot of content creators have done. We're gonna start with 64 and move up the ladder until we get to Super Mario Galaxy. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hey everybody, handheld gaming can be uncomfortable. Not for you, you're incredible, but for you, different story. You, my friend, need yourself a Satisfy Zen Grip Pro. Whether you have the regular Switch or the Switch Lite, this is now a must-own. Satisfy was kind enough to send me my own product, and after using it for 5 minutes, it slides on like a dream, and I can't even fathom how I survived with a Switch without a grip like this. It's comfortable, it adds zero heft. If you get the Pro bundle, it has its own carrying case, it fits in there perfectly, and if you want to go ahead and support me, get yourself a nice little discount. There will be a link in the description down below. Use the code PLAYS10. Get yourself a Satisfy Zen Grip. Thank me later if you're a Switch player. This thing is incredible. So Super Mario 64, this game, I'm very surprised how well it's aged. It has the best soundtrack. I love the controls too. I mean, fighting the camera, it's like fighting a boss onto its own. It's actually horrible. But for a game from 1996 to feel as good as it does on the Switch, I was very surprised. I really thought I was gonna have a lot of trouble playing this game. I'm not one of those people who's gone back to 64 time in, time out, tried my own speed runs. I've played it a number of times, but I was very, very young. It's probably been 15 years since I've actually laid my hands on Mario 64. So a lot of this was very fresh to me, and I really appreciated starting with 64 because the last Mario game, obviously like most I've played since then, is Super Mario Odyssey. So to see a lot of the DNA from 64 still being retained in all these future Mario titles, it's something I'm going to bring up a lot in this video, but it made me appreciate not only what Odyssey did, how it's very true to the DNA of a Mario game, but also how much things that started off in 64 have evolved throughout each of these entries. But as a whole, that game is still so impressive. You can truly feel how it revolutionized the games industry, and so I didn't think there needed to be a lot of work done to this. I know some people have an issue with the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's 720p. I understand that. Once again, this is where Nintendo's efforts, I think, could have been a little better. I'm going to talk about Sunshine with that because I feel that could have used a lot more touching up, a lot more actually. So you know what, let's not even stall, let's go ahead and get into it. Super Mario Sunshine, I know there's a debate on the internet. Is Sunshine good? Is Sunshine bad? You fall on either side of the fence. There really isn't an in-between. So I picked this game up with my girlfriend, we were playing it together. She was a big Sunshine fan when she was younger. We hopped in together. Like I said, my first time ever playing this game, right? So like, I'm like, man, this is gonna be awesome. And yeah, I did not like it. I don't like Sunshine. I'm sorry guys, I do not like this at all. Now, I think I know what the problem is. I really don't even think it's the game. As a game, Super Mario Sunshine is really impressive once again. Like, there's a hub world where you're on the Isle of Delfino. Now, I gotta thank, you know, TikTokers and YouTubers and Twitter videos for ruining the track that plays when you're exploring the island, because I've heard it in a million meme videos. I didn't know what it was from. Now I do, and I'm like, I can't unhear all of the silly internet videos. But more to my point about something that Nintendo could have done to make this game a little more enjoyable, I think, is, say, allowing us to use these controllers. Right now, this is a Switch version of the GameCube controller. It's not an actual GameCube controller. It has a USB connection here at the end, as you can see. And for some reason, Nintendo's saying you can't use these. So I think a big problem with Super Mario Sunshine is that the Joy-Con doesn't have enough resistance, so when Mario goes, he bolts, he goes. So precise platforming, at least for me, I found it kind of tough. And you know, once again, I joke sometimes about my waning video game skills. I think I am genuinely good at games at this point in my life, but I was struggling a lot with Mario Sunshine. Something about it, it's like Mario was on a slip and slide constantly, man. Like he was just either stationary or he was bursting at the seams to just get going. And so with that out of the way, otherwise, like I said, I was impressed by its hub areas, the way it laid out the levels. I felt this was something I saw a lot of in, say, Odyssey, the DNA of this game being really carried over into that game, and I think mastered in a lot of ways. What I also appreciated was the way you use the flood on your back and how that can transform in all these different ways, and how it kind of triggers your OCD to like clean the island, like clean the whole dang thing, all right? Because, you know, if you don't, like, it's just gonna bother you to no end. At least that's what happened to me. So gameplay wise, the systems that were there, I thought worked very well. It was just how it controlled and the fact that I had to use the Joy-Cons. It didn't bug me when it came to Mario 64, but Sunshine, like, I thought I was losing it, right? So we tried it a couple nights ago. We put it down, we started swapping other Mario games. I picked it up on handheld and thought, okay, I'm closer to the screen. Things are gonna be better now. This is gonna be just fine. And it didn't work out for me. So Super Mario Sunshine didn't really stick, but speaking of handheld, we'll move into Super Mario Galaxy with this one. I played this one the most. This was the one I was really curious about because I knew I already liked 64. Sunshine, I know, was an experiment for me. It didn't work, but I understand why a lot of people like it. So Galaxy was the one I was left with, really hoping it would live up to the reputation the internet's really built it up to be, that this was like one of the best 3D platformers. And so I gotta say, this one the internet nailed. This game is awesome, and I'm kicking myself for missing it. Now, I was never a big Wii kid. I always liked the Wii because of the motion controls, but for me, being the weeb I was always into either like Naruto, Clash of Ninja Revolution, or any game that let me use the Wiimote as like a weapon. So I really liked Twilight Princess. That's one of my favorite Zelda games because I could use the motion controls to attack enemies, and as a kid, I thought that was the most awesome thing ever. So anything that played like a controller, well, you guessed it, I went back over to the PS2 and I was hitting the controller over there because I felt like I wasn't making use of the capabilities of the Wii if there weren't motion controls. Nowadays though, I'm not really even a big fan of motion controls at all, so it's kind of funny how that's changed. But when it comes to Super Mario Galaxy, I think it's just the diversity in its gameplay and its environments that really excited me about this title, because at first I thought, oh my god, they literally took like the Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, Grab Boots planets where you're running around the globe, and it's just on steroids. And I was starting to get a headache and thinking to myself, oh no, like I'm gonna get hated on the internet for not liking 2 out of the 3 games here. But over time, it starts to establish itself. You start to go to different galaxies all over the place. And like when I started to change into a bee costume and then I could start climbing on the honeycomb, I was like, all right, this game's awesome. This is what I'm talking about, because then you've got all these different collectibles, you've got these different outfits, different environments, different mini games. There's just so much variety, and it's because they're going to all these different galaxies, you're able to pack so many different ideas into one game and have it make sense. So it works spectacularly well, and I am absolutely going to play this one to completion. I am, once again, as I said in the beginning of all this, kicking myself for not getting to Super Mario Galaxy any sooner, right? Because I've always enjoyed the 3D platforming collectathons, especially nowadays. Like I said, I'm starting to ease myself into a place where I really like to just play games for fun. I love my stories, but sometimes I feel there is such an overkill on these like deep, dark, hard-hitting, or at least trying to hit hard stories that a lot of them start to glance off. So a game like Mario 64 or Sunshine or Galaxy, it does resonate with me quite well at this point in time. Now I gotta say about Nintendo's efforts, when you boot up the game, boots up really fast, which I thought was interesting, but more so the menus. Let's just say like I could have thrown this together in Photoshop in like 20 minutes. There was just an opportunity here, I feel, to, I don't want to say modernize things, because I know there is a degree of preservation with these ports here, and especially with it being limited, you just want the games as they were, right? And so I understand that, I respect that. But for example, fighting with the camera, not being able to use the GameCube controller for the Switch, stuff like that just blew my mind. I'm like, why isn't this a thing for these games? Also, a chance to show some behind the scenes content, like seeing Nintendo have a commentary maybe on the L is real sign in Super Mario 64, one of the biggest fan theories. Instead of having it go through data mining after 24 years, it would have been really, really cool to see Nintendo talking about these things, or maybe having a developer commentary over some of these games. And it just makes those points of laziness, like in Sunshine, where they just cut out the words from the Flood voice actor when they're reading the button layouts. That type of stuff, man, I was just like, really? Really? And so that cost them like $50. So Nintendo could have taken like $1,000, invested it into this game to produce like a documentary or like a little bit of commentary, filled in some of those voice lines, and a couple of quality of life enhancements. Obviously, it's probably more than $1,000, but you get my point. It would have been so cheap for what is now one of the best-selling games of the year. But do I regret my $60 purchase is the question. No, not really, because I never really played 2 of the 3 games here. So I found value in that. I think the value is, as it always is with games, subjective. But in this case, it very much is emphasized because some people are here for nostalgia. I'm not one of those people. Some people are here hoping that it's a mixture of nostalgia, but also modernization, quality of life enhancements. You know, I talked about this a lot when it came to Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, how there is a chance with these remasters, with these re-releases, to do things that previously weren't possible with the games. And they're not these huge, expensive overhauls of these systems, but rather just little touches here and there to make the experience a little easier, a little more enjoyable, and going, oh man, this feels so much better than the original, where it retains that core gameplay, but maybe, like I said, the camera works a little bit better, giving a free camera. That type of stuff are the quality of life enhancements I'm talking about. And I've just seen it more and more where I don't want to call this lazy, because to get the emulation working for the 3D All-Stars collection here, and how they're doing it, and seemingly how they're setting it up for the future, where I saw a couple of articles online highlighting the type of emulation that was used here, where there were particular things within the emulation that had nothing to do with any of these 3 games here, meaning that Nintendo may be looking into either porting more games or putting games on the Nintendo Switch Online service, and this may just be the framework that they built it off of. So it's always possible that's the case, and that more of the technical achievement was just getting them running on the Switch and functioning properly. I don't know, like you guys know, I try to stay away from the tech stuff here. But point being is that it's a very interesting discussion with this game. Overall, opinion-wise, those are just my thoughts on each of the 3 Mario games. I know I'm not a Nintendo channel. I don't anticipate this video to do well, but I thought it was just a bit of a missed opportunity, really, at the end of the day. It's a very fun game, but I really think they could have done a lot more with it. But do I regret my purchase? No, because I've never played 2 out of the 3 games. One of them I ended up not liking, but one of them I really, really like, and one of them I knew I really liked. So for me, 2 out of the 3, that's pretty good odds. I enjoyed it. Having it on the Switch is just good enough for me. I've barely used my Switch this year, so getting any type of reps in with that system feels pretty good right now. So those are my thoughts on the Mario 3D All-Stars collection. I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts in the comments down below. Have you guys picked this up? If so, what do you think? Let me know. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons, as well as the new YouTube members who continue to join us. Appreciate each and every single one of you guys hopping in. And with that, I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.